here in front of me as I start my spiel. But anyway, apologies, I am a tiny bit early today. It's lovely and quiet at home at the moment, so I thought I'd jump on while it was quiet and take advantage, and then I can get on with the rest of my day, as can we all. I'm just going to check my sound, make sure that's okay. It's my iPad catches up. Here we go. Oh, definitely okay there. I can see that. Okay, so as I say, thanks for joining me. I can see a couple have jumped on already. Thanks very much. I'm not using any particular stamp set today. I'm just using our lovely coloured cardstock and one of the dies from the Eden's Garden suite, which basically in this card basically is all you need. This is actually my customer bonus card for October, November. Basically, if you place an order online with me anytime during the next month, for any amount, no minimum purchase required, I'll pop a kit into the mail so you can pop this one together in your own home and have this really lovely bright card. Doesn't really matter what sentiment you use, as long as you stick to the lighter colours, it will be totally fine. So as I say, this is the video. If you do place an order and do get a kit, refer back to this video and it'll help you pop it together. But we can all give it a go anyway. So there's actually two cards I'm doing today. As I say, this is my customer bonus card, and I just got sort of totally carried away with the whole rainbow cardstock idea, and actually this is the second card we're going to do together as well. So this one's probably a little bit more work than the first one, but it's I think it's really, really nice. I quite like that whole sort of rainbow effect and the wreath of those lovely leaves from the artistic dies. But anyway, let's do our customer bonus card first, and then you'll know how to pop it together when you get your kit in the mail. Okay, so it's a slightly squished, slightly less tall, shorter card than my normal. So the card base itself is 5.5 by 8 3/4. 5.5 by 8 1/4, scored in the middle, so it ends up as a 5.5 by 4 1/8 card base. So don't need that quite yet. But also in your kit you will have, and I think I've got, actually that's the wrong card base, that's the second one. Also in your kit you'll have a smaller piece of basic black cardstock, and it's actually 1/4 of an inch smaller than the card base. So it's 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. And that's the one we're actually going to be putting our little strips of cardstock on. So I'll just tell you for purposes what the colours are. So if you want to make this one at home. So we've got a bit of everything there. We've got the dark purple sort of colour. I'm using Blackberry Bliss. Then we go to Bermuda Bay, and then to Granny Apple Green. And I've got a second one in there that I shouldn't have. Granny Apple Green, and then Daffodil Delight, and Pumpkin Pie, and then Real Red. So they're our 6 colours of the rainbow that we're using today. Okay, so all you basically need to do is grab your colours, and look, I've put them in that particular order, but there's no need for you to do so. If you want your rainbow sort of jumbled up a little bit, that's entirely fine. So grab your piece of basic black cardstock, and then what I basically do is just run my tape runner, or whatever, double-sided tape. I've been known to use that as well when it behaves itself. Didn't do my flick properly, did I? Just run it top, bottom, sides, and up and down the middle as well. And then basically we're just going to layer our pieces of cardstock on that already sort of sticky base. So I can see a few people jumping on. Thanks, guys. Apologies again, as I'm a little bit early. You probably weren't looking for, if you were looking for me, you were looking for me at 10:30. But as I say, it's nice and quiet here today, so I thought I'd jump on a bit early while it's still the case. Okay, so I'm going to start with my Blackberry Bliss at the top. I'm just basically going to line that up with the black. The real reason that you've got that little piece of black is just so you can line them up, because it's exactly the same, the shape of our end panel. Then working our way down, I'm going to go what's this one? Bermuda Bay next. So just line that up and butt it up against the top one. And then we'll go Granny Apple Green. Make them as close to each other as you possibly can. Then our Daffodil Delight. Not quite as straight as it should be. There we are. And then our Pumpkin Pie. And last of all, our Real Red. So the Real Red should fit pretty much exactly. Although I've been a bit out of way. You might have a tiny bit, everything's moving now, apologies for that. You might have a tiny bit of overlap at the end, but we'll trim that off. So actually now we're going to grab your trimmer or your whatever you use to trim things, your guillotine. We're going to trim those edges off, plus that little bit of Real Red that's overlapping. Just line it up. Hopefully this will work. It's been a bit gummed up lately. It needs a bit of a clean, the blade. There we are. So keep those bits. They'll be handy later on, especially if you want to make a second card. We'll make the second card because we've got two to do with this technique. And there's our red gone. Nope. My blade's not quite as sharp as it should be. There we are. Okay, so there we have our beautiful colourful panel there, just like that, or that way, whichever way you want. Yeah, so what we're going to do is grab our card base back in. So I'm not popping this one like smack bang in the middle. I'm actually lining it with the top, what do we say, top left-hand corner. So it basically leaves a sort of a border of black on the right-hand side and the bottom. So we're just going to pop that on now. And look, to be honest, this one's pretty much finished now. It's a much simpler card than the second one that I tackled this morning. Just overlapped a little bit there. I'll give that a bit of a trim as well. Yeah. Okay, so we'll pop this on, as I say, top right-hand corner. Try and get it straight since I'm using double-sided tape and there's no wriggle time. There we are. Just like that. Okay, so nice and colourful and bright and rainbowy. Okay, so what we need now is, and in your kit those will already be cut, is just that these are just some little leaves from the Eden's Garden collection. You could use any little ornate leaf that you like, but I've got one in each of the colours of the cardstock. As I say, they'll already be cut in your kit. So basically then you just take the little leaf that corresponds to the colour that you're looking at, grab some glue, and just dot some glue on the back. Doesn't have to be a lot. There's some fine bits to this one which you probably want to avoid. Just on the larger parts, if your glue can come out without it all splodge. There's a bit of a splodge. And then just lay those over the colour. So it's really just a tone on tone effect you're going for. You'll just see the effect of that little leaf over the top of the same colour. Yeah, and we'll work our way down. So you've got the Bermuda Bay one next. And I actually have, rather than laying them all the same way, I've alternated them. So this one will go sort of like top and tail. That's up to you. That was just my personal preference, just for a little bit of interest. So that one went sort of left to right, and the other one will go right to left. Then I'll grab my Granny Apple Green one. All of these will be in your kit. As I say, if you purchase from me this month, this is your customer bonus kit. Now this one I'm going to go back to the original direction. And grab my yellow one. So I'm just, as I say, adding these on the way down. We'll pop some not dimensionals, we'll pop the sentiment on around this lighter area where the yellow is, and then some rhinestones, and we're done. Love to see everyone dropping on. Thank you. You can see Sally and Pam and Deborah and Denise. Joan. Hey, Joan. Joan from Melbourne. Hope you're well. Enjoying a little bit more freedom than you have the last however long, forever seems. Okay, now just our last red one, and I'll grab my my rhinestones and my stamp. You can use whatever sentiment you'd like on this one. Just pop this last one on there. Make it a birthday card or a just because card or a, anything. Probably not a good sympathy card, I wouldn't have thought, but anyway, it's up to you. So we're going to pop, I'll grab a sentiment. I haven't really decided which sentiment to use on this one. You really want something that's going to just stick to that sort of yellow area there, or the lighter shades. Obviously, it's not much point stamping it on the darker colours because you won't see it. I might just use, how's this happy? You can tell what I've been working on at the moment. I've got stamps out all over the place. There's a happy birthday there, which could be nice. I might use that one. And that's the one I actually do use on my second card as well. So we'll just use this. It's just a happy birthday from the Pansy Patch, which has got some lovely sentiments there, even if you're not a big pansy lover. Grab my block. I'm just going to do this one on black. You could quite easily heat emboss it in black or a gold or silver or whatever you like, but I'm just going to do it in black. Not sure how juiced up my stamp pad is, but we'll give it a go. I'm just going to pop the happy birthday there. Hopefully straight. It's a bit hard when you're doing your videos. You can't quite see in over the top as well as you probably would when you were crafting alone. Okay, so I'll grab some rhinestones. So you'll have some rhinestones, probably 5 rhinestones in your pack as well. Just going to stick to little ones. Just pop them, sort of also going to alternate these sort of front and back or left and right. There we are. Done. Okay, there'll be a white panel for you to pop inside, of course, so you can write your personal message in there. And that's pretty much done. So that is my customer bonus card. Here's the first one. Customer bonus card for October. So as I say, if you're a customer, you get the card, refer back to the video and it'll show you how to put it together. Although it's probably not that difficult, I'm sure you can work it out as you go. So there's our first one. So we'll do the second card now. This one caused me a little bit more grief this morning. It's a little bit fiddlier than the first one and than your customer bonus card, but still uses this wonderful rainbow on the side here. So this little card has a slightly more short card base because we haven't got the black at the top and the bottom, but we still have the same colours. So it's actually 5 1/4 high and still 4 1/8 wide. So that's what you're going for there. And again, we have our rainbow, but I've got one that I already made, so I didn't want to have to do it again. I just made one and cut it in half. It is here somewhere, I'm sure. Okay, so here we've got our little rainbow made exactly the same way with the double-sided tape on black cardstock. And he doesn't seem to want to stick there. Double-sided tape hasn't taken very well there. Makes me wonder whether I put it on there at all. None of them have stuck. Top and bottom I did. Oh, it's probably the centre, where the central one hasn't stuck to those few. Okay, so we've got our little bit of strip of rainbow there, made exactly the same way as the first one. So what I'm going to do is pop that rainbow panel to the right-hand side, sort of the opening edge of the card. I'm just going to pop that straight down there. On this little panel of rainbow is, I think, 2 inches long, 2 inches wide. Yeah, pretty much 2 inches. It doesn't matter too much because we're going to cover over a bit of it anyway, but it's a 2-inch panel. As I say, just pop that straight down the right-hand side. The card base is a bit manky. My trimmer, for some reason, has trouble with black cardstock. None of the others. Just the black one seems to cause it traumas. It tends to be. It doesn't matter how sharp the blade is. The black just worries it. I've got my rainbow upside down there, and I might need to trim the top when I'm done, so that's okay. All good. Okay, so what I've also got is a 3-inch wide piece of basic white. So it's 3 inches by 5 1/4, and it's just going to sit straight over, so covering a part of your, a bit of your rainbow and leaving a black spine down that end as well. So we're going to pop that on as well, and I am going to have to trim that end. Everything's moved, apologies for that. So just glue, double-sided tape, whatever your poison, and I'm going to pop this in as well. Okay. Okay, so we might trim that end now because it looks a bit manky the way it is. So I'll just bring my guillotine back. Again, it's my poor red end that needs trimming. You can see why everything's a bit manky. That blade isn't doing what it should. Anyway, I'll clean that off later. Okay, so there is sort of the basis of our card. So what we're going to do now, and you can see I've done with the first one, I've got a black circle, so that's just from our layered circle dies, and I'm going to heat emboss it with white. I love the black on the white writing on the black, so we'll do that first. That was my big hint from before, from the first version of this card that I did. Don't try and heat emboss it after you've been mucking around with glue, because it just won't work. I've had many attempts. Everything's moving around. Glue everywhere. That's that gluey patch there. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to heat emboss it, and I'm going to use the happy birthday again, the one I just used on our first card. So I'm going to use my Versamark. Good thing with a circle is, as long as you're roughly in the centre, you can't be not straight, because a circle has no edges. So it doesn't really matter what angle you go at. You're going to be fine. Okay, so there's my ink. Bring in my white embossing powder, which is here somewhere. There we go. I think my craft room today is particularly damp. We've had a lot of rain. So I did notice that the embossing powder wanted to stick to everything this morning. Probably should have brought my buddy in, my embossing buddy. But I find with the embossing buddy, he tends to sort of, when you're using dark cardstock, he tends to get the powder all over the cardstock. But that's okay. It hasn't gone too badly. Okay, just excuse the noise. I'm just going to bring in my heat gun and hopefully not burn myself. Should get my tweezers there somewhere. Something's burning. I hope it's not me. Eek. No, I need my tweezers. Where are you, tweezers? No, that's not them. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's go again. Now you may notice I always come in, or generally come in from the bottom with my heat gun, only because it will curl the paper, and if you come in from the bottom, it curls it sort of like a mountain, like a hill, rather than like a valley, and it makes it sit easier on the card. It curls up rather than down. Okay, there we are. Just get rid of that extra embossing powder before we have an embossing powder disaster, which I have been known to have a lot. Okay, so we've got our little round black circle. So what I'm going to do now is bring in, and I've cut quite a lot, as you can tell, because you cut one, you get lots and lots of leaves. This is the beautiful leaf die from the artistic dies, excuse me. That's the artistic dies. So I've cut lots and lots and lots. So what I want to grab is the colours of the rainbow that I've used on the card. They should be here somewhere. There should be one of each. So I did prepare it earlier. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. What am I missing? There's the yellow. So I'm just using these. If you know the die, the ones I'm picking out are just the top 2 leaves. So obviously you've got lots and lots more that you can use. What colour am I missing? Bermuda Bay. That's that there. So I've got the top 2 leaves of that, and as I said, you've got lots and lots and lots to spare to use. So what we need to do now is grab our little square, our little circle, and we're going to arrange in the same order that I have my rainbow. I'm going to arrange these little leaves around like a wreath around the back. You might have to trim their little tails a little bit, just so they don't stick out too far. But yeah, I'm just going to arrange them all around the back and stick them down so that they form a sort of a little wreath around the back of that. So the way I found it easier last time was to just grab my glue or my double-sided tape again and just pop down a layer of it. It makes the circle a bit sticky, which is probably why I've got glue everywhere, just like that. But it makes it easy. You can pop them in and get them into the position you like without getting, without committing too much. So I'm just going to start in the center or in the back with that one. So we've got then Bermuda Bay next. So just curling them, or sort of almost curling them around the edge. You might have to come back and move them if they're a bit too far apart or a bit too close together, but once you've got them on the first time, you should be able to see what you've got to do. What's yellow next after green? And then orange. Okay, you can see what we're sort of doing here. That might be a little bit too upright. There we go, and red. That should be about right. Oh, well done, Julianne. There we are. So you can see there we've got a really nice sort of colourful rainbow sort of wreath happening around the edge of our black circle there. That's a lot more. I only did one leaf on that one. I quite like that. That's sort of cute. did take a bit of fiddling to get them the right distance apart, whereas this one we've gone a bit crazier with two each of the leaves. So, okay, so what you can do now, if you're worried about them staying put, is grab another circle the same, and I did have one cut and I don't know where it's gone. Grab another circle the same size as the first one and actually glue that down so it sort of sandwiches your little leaves between. I don't think I'm going to have to do that this time because they're all well and truly stuck down. So what I might just do is grab, now, one thing I wanted to do that I forgot to do on the first one, if you've got any of these gold, come on out, any of these gold hoops left from, when were they? About 12 months ago, probably even more. I thought gold hoop behind there, oh no, too much happening, a gold hoop over there would be really, really nice, just in there somewhere. I think that sort of really adds a little bit of highlight to it already. So I'm going to pop that on with some glue dots. Now the glue dots are interesting with the hoops. You actually have to curl them over. So you pop a glue dot on your hook, on your hoop. Now these are the glue dots that would rather stick to anything but what you want them to stick to. Come on, yep, that one's stuck. So you grab your little glue dot, you pop it on the hoop, and then you can just curl the ends under so that you don't see quite as much of the glue dot behind the skinny hoop. Good one. So just curl them under a wee bit. And I might do 3 on this one. Curl under you. Okay, so we've got that there. So I'm just going to pop him because there's too much happening. If I was doing this one, I'd probably pop it underneath because you could probably see him better through. But with this one, I think I might just pop him just over the top of the leaves. Just there like that. It adds a little bit of something to it. So then I'll grab some dimensionals and I'll pop this circle up on some height. You can even use the dimensionals to give them a little bit of extra sturdiness if that's what you think you need to do. Really pleased to use those gold hoops. I had them left over and I thought, I don't think I'm ever going to use those, but there you go, I have. So pop this onto the white part of your decoration, the white cardstock, sort of central as you can. It's gone a little bit crazy with all those flowers. I'm going to have to go over to the right a little bit. There we are. Okay. There we are. That one's really quite nice. I like that one. So we've got our 2 little rainbow ones there. This one's sort of plainer but quite pretty. I think I don't know which one I prefer. You guys tell me which one you prefer. I think this one got sort of a bit busy all of a sudden, but that's okay. Busy is good sometimes. Actually, I think I prefer the one on the left. There you go. You never know until you try, eh? So there we go. I don't know that it needs that gold ring even. Isn't that terrible having put it on there and I don't think it's needed. There we are. That's probably better without it. I'll use the gold ring later. Okay, so there we are. So we have our 2 sort of rainbow wreath cards there as well. So that's really all I had to show you today. Pretty busy day with the family. We're trying to work out kids leaving home and, well, lots of kids leaving home. My youngest's headed up North Tasmania to do his 12-week placement. So we're trying to work out how we're going to accommodate him up there because we don't really have family or friends up there anymore. We've got a few family, but not where he's going. So, yeah, lots of things happening. Could end up going from a full house to an empty house within a number of weeks. Sounds quite nice. All right, so thanks for joining me today, guys. As I say, the one on my left is the customer bonus card for well, the rest of October and into November. And this little one here just keeps that sort of rainbow thing going. As I say, there's no particular card stamp set or dies or you'd need for these. You just anything that really turns you on. Thanks a lot. I will see you all next weekend. Have a great week. Stay safe, and yeah, stay safe.